Hi there. This video is going to be about different dynamic entries into crow and basically hopping into that arm balance from down dog. It's a good exercise to practice. You know, it's a little bit flashy. It looks impressive once you get it down. There's a lot of fear that holds people back from doing it because it is more dynamic. So you're hopping forward. You don't want to fall on your face, which is a very real hazard, all right? So just kind of have that in mind. Pay attention to what you're doing. And if you're feeling tired or things are falling apart while you're practicing, take a little break. Come back to the next day. Come back to the next day. Come back to it a few minutes later if you need to. But feel things out. Now, coming into this, if you're not used to hopping forward into crow, what you want to do is get as close to the shape as you can and let your feet come down on the floor and start practicing that to begin. So this is going to be kind of fast to start. The more you can slow things down and control your movements, the better and the stronger you're going to be. So I'm going to start this from downward facing dog. And then from here, I'm going to hop this forward toward crow. My toes are going to come down to the floor, all right? So I'm actually going to land almost in a frog sort of shape, but it'll start to move closer and closer to the crow shape from here. So I'm going to look forward, take an inhale. With the exhale, bend the knees, look forward, hop, land on your toes, and go ahead and land with the knees outside your arms. So you want to keep your gaze forward, keep your weight forward, and stay light on your toes. You're pressing your hands the whole time. And if you're not used to taking a lot of weight on your hands, what's going to happen is you're going to hop this forward, you're going to be kind of heavy in back. Now just come here, and this is fine. The more you can control this and the more you can come to a soft descent and a soft landing, the better off you are and the more you're going to be able to hold the shape. Now, if you're feeling a little bit more brave and you want to make this a little bit more, I guess a little more dynamic hopping into this, what you may find is that you start coming too far forward. And if you start to get a little bit scared, keep in mind, you can always have some sort of pad. This is a bolster, and this is going to be here just in case I crash land so that my head can go into something rather than into the floor. So again, I'm going to have my hands down, and I'm going to hop this from downward facing dog. So you take an inhale here. With the exhale, bend the knees, look forward, hop, and if you go too far, whoop, and you're down onto the bolster. No big deal, all right? And try to keep it maybe a little bit closer than I had right there. But I'm going to bring this back in down dog. And I'm going to start landing it a little bit here. Now, to land this, to come into the shape, you're not necessarily going to come into that crow shape where you have the knee landing right on the upper arm. I would actually recommend bringing your knees wide so they come outside. The wider you can get the knees, the more likely you are to actually catch the pose. Now, you're going to have to really dig into the fingertips and keep everything as braced as you can and feel things out. And I recommend starting that with a bolster here because it is very hard, a bolster or a cushion or whatever works, because it is very hard to control the landing. You got to get used to it. Mentally, it's a very big deal. So you're kind of trying to calm your mind down and trying to really engage tension where you need tension and still land everything in place. And you have to feel this out because obviously you can't see where your body is in space as you're doing this sort of thing. So from downward facing dog, I'm going to hop this forward and make it a little bit more dynamic. So you take an inhale. With the exhale, bend the knees, look forward, hop. And now as I come down, I just let the knees go wide. And I'm setting myself on my arms. And you want to really keep everything squeezed in, keep gripping the floor. And that would be the lower version of the pose. Now, if you're able to hover things in a little bit more of a tuck handstand, you can start to take things a little bit slower. You have to really control the bend of the elbows and see and really feel out where you're placing the knees on the upper arms. There's no perfect place here. You're going to find something that feels right for you, probably toward the lower half of the tricep and probably on the very top of the knee because everything's kind of tend to merge there for most people. But you probably start out with the knees wide. Now, once you're actually used to that and want to take things further, go ahead and take an inhale. With the exhale, look forward, hop forward. Now you're going to take this toward a tuck to be in. And then as you come down, pull your belly in, bring the knees to the arms, and then go ahead and land like this. And you're keeping your gaze forward, trying to take this light and bring it back down. Now, if you want to land this toward an even harder shape, you can come in toward that tuck, hovering, and then see about pulling your knees toward your armpits and landing this with straight arms. And this is the hardest version to hold. It's probably going to take a while before you get the strength to do this, but it really depends on you. It took me a long time. So again, from downward facing dog, you're going to take a deep inhale. With the exhale, bend the knees, look forward, hop. Now as you pull in, bring the knees toward the armpits. Try to keep the arms straight. Your shoulders are going to have to come forward. Hold this shape as best you can. And then bring it down when you're ready. And it's not an easy shape to hold on to when you're talking at the same time. And that's about as extreme as I'm going to get right there. As a little bit of a bonus, if you want to just see where you can take this to, once you get used to your crow, you can start to pull this up. And then more dynamic the other way, you can bring this up towards some sort of handstand. But just feel things out as best you can and see how far you want to take things here.